Welcome back, press fans. Coming to you from Altman Studios in beautiful downtown Brentwood, this is Clocked In with the Press. I'm Melissa Van Rooten, here with press editor Kyle Savansky on sports.
Hello.
Today, we'll be talking about some wins for local students, Oakley's new fire station, and the latest on the Alexis Gabe case, among other things. But first, let's hear a quick word from this episode's sponsor.
This episode of Clocked In with the Press is sponsored by Bill Brandt Ford at 8100 Brentwood Boulevard, right here in Brentwood. For award-winning sales, service, and all your Ford needs, think Bill Brandt Ford at 8100 Brentwood Boulevard.
Thanks so much. Kyle, did you know that today is National Donut Day?
No, but thanks for reminding me. I'm going to go grab one on my way out.
I am probably way more excited about this than I should be, because being a Massachusetts born and raised person, I am headed to Half Moon Bay today for a wedding, and there's a Dunkin' Donuts. So
wow.
That's my win for the day. Happy National Donut Day, everybody. Get yourself some donuts. Contra Costa residents can go to several new test-to-treat sites around the county, including one each in Antioch and Brentwood, to get prescription medication if they test positive for COVID-19. 3 new test-to-treat locations recently opened in Antioch, Brentwood, and Pleasant Hill at state sites operated by OptumServe that were previously used for only COVID-19 testing. Patients who go to the sites will take a rapid antigen test, and if positive and symptomatic, they will be connected to a doctor through video. If the doctor deems it medically appropriate, they will prescribe oral antiviral pills, according to a county news release. As part of Contra Costa Health's Path to Zero initiative, Contra Costa Health Plan recently opened its advice nurse line at 877-661-6230 to any county resident who tests positive for COVID, regardless of insurance, to improve local access to treatment. Advice nurses screen callers and schedule free telehealth appointments with a provider who can prescribe medication. For more information about oral antivirals and other treatments, you can visit the coronavirus page on Contra Costa County's health website. The 2 closest sites to us, the first being in Antioch, is at the Antioch Community Center at 4703 Lone Tree Way. You can schedule an appointment online or call 833-829-2626. And then the second one near us is right here in Brentwood. The testing site is at 101 Sand Creek Road. And same thing, schedule an appointment online or by calling 833-829-2626. Heritage High School junior Isaiah Javier will attend not 1, but 2 prestigious music camps this summer. The 17-year-old musician and his saxophone will travel across the country in July to spend 1 week at the Brubeck Institute Summer Jazz Colony, followed by 2 weeks at the Lincoln Center's Summer Jazz Academy. The Brubeck program is an intensive educational course for a limited number of highly talented students from around the world. The Lincoln Center's curriculum is considered the premier program for advanced high school jazz students and includes rigorous training for 42 of the country's most dedicated high school musicians. Isaiah said he was thrilled to be participating in both programs. Isaiah currently takes virtual lessons from George Garzone, a music professor at the Berklee College of Music in Boston, and Adam Larson, a saxophonist and composer. He takes in-person lessons from Bay Area legendary saxophonist Mary Fettig. He is also mentored by Michael Miller, a musician and songwriter. Though Isaiah used to swim and play soccer and water polo, he has now focused all his energies on his music and strengthening his saxophone technique. He and his band occasionally play at Bay Area venues. Their next show is at Serendipity Cellars, right here in Brentwood, on June 24th. For more information, call 925-447-0572. And for lesson inquiries, you can email Isaiah at izjavier22@hotmail.com. That is amazing. Saxophone is not an easy instrument to play. My oldest tried to play it for a little bit. My husband played saxophone. It's super impressive. How about you, Kyle? Do you play any instruments?
I haven't gotten within 10 feet of an instrument because I know I'm not going to be able to play one.
How about the kazoo?
Oh, I guess that, yeah.
You are currently sitting next to an electric guitar, so...
I will never play it. Let me tell you that.
Just admire it.
You don't want to hear me.
Our next win comes from the Rotary Club poster contest. East County middle school and high school students recently showcased their artistic skills during the annual Rotary Youth Poster Contest. And for many participants, the work literally paid off. First, second, and third place finishers in middle school and high school divisions walked away with cash prizes for themselves and matching donations for their school art programs. Incoming Rotary President Dan Torres said it was a contest of expression, so they are free to share about whatever issues are important to them. As a result, we see a wide array of details and issues that are important to the artists. A lot of them are social issues that as adults we see, and it may be surprising that our youth are seeing them as well. Winners Ali Gamalo of Dozier Libby Medical High School and Eva Marin Hards of Adams Middle School earned $300 for themselves and their school art programs. Summer Bonham of Liberty High School and Anessa Schultz of Adams Middle School finished second and $200 for themselves and their schools. And Dorian Williams of Liberty High School and Zihan Chu of Adams Middle School took home third place and $100. Honorable mentions went to Alyssa Huffmaster of Knightson Elementary School, Caroline Jin of Bristow Middle School, Alex Ibanez of Black Diamond Middle School, and to Liberty High students Riley Morris, Allison Giles, and Alicia Sarmiento. Torres said the club will begin publicizing their next poster contest in January. What a fun way to get your voice heard and get a little money for your art program. It is kind of heartbreaking that music and art programs in our schools get cut and cut and cut. They're so underfunded and they're so important. Superintendent Dana Eaton gave us some statistics about how important art is in helping to improve students academically as well. Also music, there are studies that have been done that show students that participate in art and music and by extension drama programs, they consistently score higher on testing, their grade point average goes up. It leads to a very balanced education and a very balanced student, and you get to explore talent. How fun is that? Tri-Delta Transit is in the final stages of completing a new park and ride lot in Oakley, located on Main Street north of its intersection at Cypress Avenue. The new park and ride lot will provide commuters with express bus service to the Antioch BART station, as well as providing local bus service on weekdays, weekends, and holidays. The contract for this project was awarded in March 2021 at a total cost of $3,989,519, with construction commencing on April 18, 2021, with an estimated completion date of June 30, 2022. Land for the project was purchased in 2009, but groundbreaking on this long-awaited project was delayed until last year. The new Oakley Park and Ride lot is a 2.4-acre facility that includes 164 parking stalls, 6 bus bays, bike lockers, and electric vehicle charging stations, and will be served and managed by Tri-Delta Transit. Once completed, the new park and ride lot will be the second one in the region to go along with another park and ride lot in Brentwood at Walnut Boulevard and Dainty Avenue. Work on how to pay for building an additional park and ride lot in the city of Antioch is also underway. According to Felicia Escobar, assistant to Oakley city manager, options for carpooling and a drop-off location for parents not wanting to fight the traffic at Main and Cypress will be included in the project. Furthermore, other improvements, including the addition of new street lighting, landscaping, frontage road, and sidewalk improvements, will also be included. Additional improvements have also been made to Main Street in Oakley, which include a new median and the widening to 2 lanes on both sides of Main Street to go along with the addition of accompanying curbs, gutters, and drainage. If you would like more information on this project, including photo updates, you can go to the Tri-Delta Transit website and under promos, Oakley Park and Ride. More good news coming out of Discovery Bay. The Sunday morning farmers market returns to Discovery Bay this weekend on June 5th. It is managed by the San Joaquin Certified Farmers Market. The event will run every Sunday from 8 a.m. to noon through September. Certified Farmers Market owner Chris Dutra said, "We will have plenty of fresh produce. I'm anticipating a lot of people will hit the market before they go on their boats, so I'm trying to stack it with easy-to-take goods like kettle corn and quick snacks, so if they are headed out on the water, they can grab something." Dutra said he looks forward to welcoming people to the farmers market. "The success of the market depends on the community's support," he said. This is all local farmers and baked goods, local artists, and the only way for it to be successful is to have the community come out and support us. For more information, call 209-405-2074 or visit www.sjcfarmersmarket.com. The Brentwood City Council voted unanimously to extend the moratorium on oil and gas drilling within city limits at the May 26th council meeting. The council had taken the first step toward enacting a permanent ban on drilling at the April 26th meeting. That initial moratorium was 45 days as council and staff sought to work on writing a, quote, ironclad ban, according to Councilwoman Jovita Mendoza at the April meeting. The motion passed at the May meeting would allow the council to extend the moratorium up to 10 months and 15 days per state law. City Manager Tim Ogden told the council that first term of 45 days is not going to provide sufficient time. We don't expect it to take that full time, but we will still need some additional time to come back to you with those proposed amendments to the municipal code and various options. 4 people spoke during the public comment period. 1 resident disagreed with the extension, while 3 others supported it. The goal of the moratorium was to temporarily halt oil and gas drilling from occurring 3,200 feet from sensitive receptor areas while staff worked on drafting a permanent ban of the project. A sensitive receptor area is defined by the Environmental Protection Agency as an area whose occupants are more susceptible to harm from pollutants. Examples include hospitals, schools, and nursing homes. Bob Nunn, president of local drilling company Sunset Exploration, Inc., was expected to be an opponent of the moratorium. Following the April meeting, Nunn said he does not oppose what the city was doing and that his company has no plans for drilling in Brentwood that would be impacted by the moratorium.
This issue's brought up a lot of debate for the community, and I'm not here to say whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but the important thing here is I think people got involved and they got vocal with their city leaders, and now they're getting what they want. So it's a good lesson in, civic participation, that if you want to see change in your community, to speak up and make your voice be heard.
Absolutely. And I will always be a huge advocate for tuning in to the city council meetings. It couldn't be easier right now. They're all virtual. You can log in. I think they're twice a month, right? They post their agenda ahead of time so you can see what is going to be discussed. If you're not able to make it, they give you an option to send an email for public comment. It is a perfect way to make your voice heard. And I know that the city council members, our city leaders, they would love to see more people involved. Speaking of support, for the 3rd consecutive year, Brentwood has declared that June would be celebrated as Pride Month to support LGBTQ+ residents. With the proclamation, the city said it wants to promote visibility, dignity, and equity for all people in the community. Many cities around the country host Pride celebrations, including parades, music performances, and memorials. These stem from the infamous Stonewall Uprising in 1969. The Library of Congress website states, quote, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer, LGBTQ, Pride Month is currently celebrated each year in the month of June to honor the 1969 Stonewall Uprising. Many cities around the country host Pride celebrations, including parades, music performances, and memorials. These all stem from the infamous Stonewall Uprising in 1969. Stonewall Inn in Greenwich Village, New York, was a popular gathering place for the LGBTQ+ community. In the early morning hours of June 28, 1969, police raided it, got physically violent with the patrons, and cleared the bar. A crowd of onlookers grew increasingly agitated as they watched Stonewall's employees and patrons placed under arrest. Eventually, the crowd started throwing rocks, bricks, bottles, and other debris at the arresting officers, forcing the officers to barricade themselves in the inn until backup arrived. By the time additional reinforcements got there, the crowd had grown to about 400 people, and the uprising continued off and on for the next 5 days. Recent Gallup analytics found that 5.6% of adults living in the United States identify as LGBTQ+. This is up from 4.5% in 2017. More than half, 54.6%, of LGBTQ+ people identify as being bisexual. While the Stonewall Uprising may have been what kickstarted the modern LGBTQ+ rights movement, more work needs to be done. A recent study done by the Trevor Project, a suicide prevention and crisis intervention organization for young LGBTQ people, found that 42% of LGBTQ youth seriously considered attempting suicide in the past year. That included more than half of transgender and non-binary youth. 60% of LGBTQ youth who wanted mental health care in the past year were not able to get it, and 73% of LGBTQ youth reported that they have experienced discrimination based on their sexual orientation or gender identity at least once. Councilwoman Karen Rary said the Rainbow Community Center in Concord offers resources and support for individuals who are LGBTQ+. Additionally, Brentwood Community United Methodist Church, a member of the Reconciling Ministries Network, holds monthly virtual LGBTQ+ family support meetings. For more information about the Trevor Project, visit www.thetrevorproject.org. And if you'd like to view the city's proclamation, you can do so on their website. I love that for 3 years now, Brentwood has stepped up and said, we support you, we see you. They've issued this proclamation. Honestly, sometimes that's all it takes, is for people to know that they are seen and supported. There is a statistic also from Trevor Project that shows the suicide rate among transgender and non-binary teenagers is cut in half when you do something as simple as use a person's preferred pronouns. And even preferred, that's going out of fashion. It's just their pronouns. And if you're not sure, just ask. It's really that simple. And I promise you, as a queer person myself, it's better to ask and know for sure than to misgender somebody. And it's even worse if you do it intentionally. When somebody tells you who they are, you need to believe them. I'm very proud to live in Brentwood, where they do step up and show their support for marginalized groups such as LGBTQ+ people. And with that being said, before we head on to sports, let's hear another word from today's sponsor.
Today's episode is sponsored by our friends at Bill Brandt Ford at 8100 Brentwood Boulevard. Speaking personally, I've used the service center at Bill Brandt Ford several times, and I've always been impressed by their commitment to the customer. I used to have this real lemon of a Ford Fusion that I bought from a less reputable dealer, and Dave, the service advisor at Bill Brandt, moved mountains to keep that thing running. My younger sister bought a car from Bill Brandt a couple years ago, and their finance department worked with her budget, and now she drives a nicer car than me. But don't just take my word for it. Bill Brandt Ford is the recipient of the prestigious President's Award from the Ford Motor Company. Only 340 of the roughly 5,000 dealerships nationwide can say the same. Locally, the community has voted them Best of Brentwood for sales and service. Bill Brandt aims to give customers the best dealership experience possible. So what are you waiting for? Give them a call today at 925-634-3551 for all your sales and service needs, or visit BillBrandtFord.com. That's Bill, B-R-A-N-D-T, Ford.com.
Thank you to our sponsor. Let's jump into sports. The Heritage softball team routed Granada 8-0 in the North Coast section title game. The Patriots were fantastic in this game. They controlled the game from the outset. Junior infielder Skylar Straw hit a home run in the top of the first inning, and by the time Granada came to bat, they were already down 5-0. Senior Casey Aranagua, the pitcher for Heritage, who threw a no-hitter in the semifinal, pitched well again. The defense made big plays when called upon. And junior Alex Quintinelli hit a 3-run home run to give the team all the insurance it needed. The win secured the team a spot in the first-ever NorCal playoffs, but Heritage fell in the opening round to Clovis, 3-0. Clovis opened up a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the second inning and scored another in the sixth inning, and Heritage just couldn't come back. They had their chances, including in the final inning, but with two on base, the Cougar second baseman Ashley Rocha made a stellar diving catch. The Patriots would eventually load the bases, but couldn't scratch any runs across. They fell 3-0. So this was a sad end to a fantastic season for the Patriots. They won a North Coast section title. It was a goal of theirs from the outset. Last year's season was derailed by the pandemic. That team had a good shot to win the North Coast section title. So it's just a good thing to finally see them win win that title despite the fact that they went on and fell in the state playoffs.
They've had an amazing season. I don't think it's a sad end. I think that they should be super proud of the season that they had. For seniors moving on to college, what an amazing season to go out on. And for the underclassmen who are coming up, let's see them do it again next year.
Heritage basketball star Amanda Muse has verbally committed to UCLA. She had other prominent options, with other finalists being Stanford, Duke, Washington, and Oregon State. Ultimately, though, she was most impressed by the Bruins. She said they have, quote, an amazing team chemistry and a lot to offer basketball-wise. The class of 2022 is the number one ranked class. There's a lot coming in, she said, and it's something I want to be a part of. And for people who are not real familiar with high school basketball, Amanda Muse is a standout 6'4" center. She's one of the top-ranked centers in the country, and the best thing about this is that you can still watch her play for one more season. She's going to be around for her senior season here in Brentwood. So I recommend, if you're into basketball or you want to see a talented basketball player, to watch the Heritage basketball team this upcoming season.
I would be so intimidated, I think, if I were one of the players on an opposing team to come on the court and be up against a 6'4" junior. Like, she's committed and she's a junior. So that already speaks volumes to her talent.
And I don't think people realize how tough it is. I mean, UCLA, Stanford, Duke, it's really tough to be recruited by those schools. So it's really impressive to see her have that list of schools that are after her. Let's move to a different sport. I don't think we've mentioned Jiu-Jitsu here on the podcast, but 5 members of Crosley Gracie's Jiu-Jitsu starred at the recent traditional American Jiu-Jitsu Cup at Independence High School in San Jose. Josiah Hoffman, he's 9, Juan Carlos Pena, 29, Antonio Fortier, 16, DeMarcus Cooper, 40, and JJ Udowski, age 7, all won first place in their respective divisions. Crosley Gracie, the owner of the Jiu-Jitsu Dojo, said this was our first competition in over 2 years due to the pandemic, and we are thrilled with our team's results. And other notable performances were Zach Dawson, he's 14, who dominated his 3 matches, and Max Lucas, 15, who both won their brackets. And just a little anecdote here, Cooper is now a 5-time gold medal winner in that competition, so big ups to him.
That is really rad.
Juan Seba Rios, a Liberty High School gamer, defeated a student from Fort Valley, Georgia, 2-1 to win the national title in esports. We plan on do a follow-up story on him in the next week's issue of the press, so stay tuned for that. But this is just a huge accomplishment for the esports team. I don't think they get quite the amount of attention that they should, because it's esports, it's new, and they kind of get overshadowed by other more conventional sports. But this is huge for East County to have an esports star in one of the early years that the sport's even been around.
Explain to me like I'm 5. Is esports electronic or extreme sports? What does the E stand for, Kyle?
For those who don't know, esports means gaming, like I think he won in the game of Madden football.
Oh, fun.
So I don't know exactly what system they play, but it's a game console.
Very cool, very cool.
There's a big opportunity for youth coming up here. Najee Harris, who starred at the University of Alabama. Before that, he went to Antioch High School, and now he plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers, is hosting a youth football camp. It's on June 25th at Antioch High School. And for those who want to sign up, the website is camp.najee.net. And this is for youth 6 to 18, and there's no cost for this camp. So jump on this opportunity, because how often are you able to be mentored by an NFL star?
That is so cool. What a big heart. What a wonderful thing to do for the youth in our community.
And I think that's it for sports this week. Let's head back to the news.
Sounds good. Sounds like it was a good sports week. Moving into our top stories. East County's newest fire station is finally open. The East Contra Costa Fire Protection District and Contra Costa Fire Protection District held a joint ribbon-cutting ceremony for the occasion on Wednesday. Construction of Station 95 at the corner of East Cypress and Bethel Island Roads in Oakley was completed in 2019, but there was not enough money to staff and operate it. Now, Confire's upcoming annexation of East Contra Costa enabled it to reach full staffing levels. Station 95's service area will predominantly be Eastern Oakley, Knightson, and Bethel Island. Residents in the immediate area are understandably very relieved. Station 95 will be fully equipped with a Type 1 engine, a Wildland engine, also known as a Type 3, and a 2,000-gallon water tender. The new station is also considered an Advanced Life Support, or ALS station, meaning that there will be a paramedic included on the engine, which is a first for East Contra Costa, but won't be the last. For the first month of the station being open, it will be run as a contract station with Confire. After July 1st, 2022, all current ECC FPD stations will switch over to Confire operations. The staffing of the previously unopened Station 95 is a result of pre-annexation collaboration between the two fire districts and comes at a time of extremely high fire danger across eastern Contra Costa County and the entire region, stated a joint ECC FPD and Confire press release. Addition of Engine 95 and the cross-staffed Wildland Fire Engine 395 increases firefighting capability by 33% in East County. Something else that is important to point out about the station is for the areas that it serves, it's going to cut service time almost in half. For Knightson, Eastern Oakley, Bethel Island, that whole area. And then for the rest of the region, it's actually expected to cut response times by 90 seconds. Somebody far smarter than myself ran the numbers and found that these are the times that it will cut service time by, which is huge. I mean, it will take the pressure off the other stations in the area to be able to head out to some of the other calls, so it's this giant ripple effect. I know there have been some questions about why it's not Station 55, right? Historically, before East Contra Costa Fire Protection District was kind of consolidated into its own district, it was several smaller districts, Byron, Bethel Island, and a few others that are slipping my mind at the moment. They were numbered in the 90s. And so when it consolidated, all of the stations in the area went over to the 50s. And then once annexation occurs on July 4th, all of our stations will actually be switching back to those 90 numbered. So we'll have Station 92 in Brentwood, we'll have Station 93 in Oakley, 99 in Discovery Bay, and of course 95 now also in Oakley. Also, they're building 2 brand new stations, which we've written about, and I'm sure, we'll write more about. So something to look forward to. It is definitely cutting our station deficit. We're getting this first responder infrastructure that is so desperately needed in this area, and I know the fire crews, they're thrilled because they won't be facing some of the staffing shortages they've been up against as well. So it's a good thing. And we're less than a month out from that.
We've battled this issue for as long as I can remember. So this is a big thing for East County and a big thing, obviously, for the residents because you need fire protection service.
For sure.
There's no question about it.
And here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. A lot of this is Measure X funding. So it's an extra 0.5 cents on the sales tax. If you're not paying for it in taxes, once your insurance company catches wind that your response time is some obscene number, then your insurance rates will go up. So you're going to pay it that way instead. Or what is also happening that I've been reading about recently is insurance companies, if they think that you're too high of a risk, they'll drop you. They will not renew your policy. So this is huge in so many ways. Medically, a paramedic on the engine. I know that's also coming to Station 52, soon to be 92. So it's all good things. And honestly, it can't come soon enough. East Contra Costa firefighters were kept busy on Saturday, May 28th, with not one, but 2 fires in Oakley. An early morning blaze on the 5,000 block of San Mound Boulevard destroyed a home, displacing its 3 residents. Thankfully, no one was reported injured or killed. The fire, which started shortly after 5 a.m., was initially reported to authorities by a neighbor. The neighbor said he was woken up by loud popping noises, and when he looked out his window, he saw the neighboring home was entirely engulfed in flames. All East Contra Costa Fire Protection District units responded, along with mutual aid units from Confire. They were able to ascertain that all residents had made it out of the home safely before going into defensive firefighting operations. A defensive attack means that fire crews remain on the exterior of the home due to safety precautions and to prevent the spread to other homes, structures, and vegetation close by. There are no fire hydrants located along Sandmound Boulevard, so water tenders from stations 52 and 53 were required to set up a relay to provide the water necessary for extinguishing the blaze. East Contra Costa Fire Marshal Steve Aubert said the fire pretty much consumed the entire structure. There were a few areas that were also heavily smoke damaged. Aubert said that it took about an hour to put out the fire. One female resident recounted having to jump down from the back deck of the home to escape the flames before having to catch her dog, which her father had gone back into the home to rescue. I was terrified, she said. The cause of the fire was determined to be accidental in nature, but likely electrical, according to officials. Later that same evening, a fire reportedly started after a barbecue propane tank exploded, damaging a home and neighboring yards on the 4000 block of Claret Court. The main structure was burned, but while not a total loss, it sustained an estimated $100,000 in damage. It won't be inhabitable until repairs are completed, officials said. Crews from East Contra Costa Fire Protection District and Contra Costa Fire Protection District were able to keep the damage to additional residences to their exteriors only, said Fire Marshal Aubert. All residents were able to evacuate safely. However, one person was having some difficulty breathing and ended up being transported to a local hospital. The crews took about 40 minutes to bring that fire under control and stayed on the scene for an additional 2 hours for cleanup. This was like the start and end to my day. My alarm Saturday morning, it was nice. We had our windows open and I woke up to tons of sirens. And I thought, oh man, what's going on? And so I got up and I drove out to Sandmound, and it was, when they say defensive firefighting, there was no way to even get up initially to the second floor. The stairs were completely burned. This gentleman who had gone back in to rescue his daughter's dog, because everybody had gotten out, and then the dog ran back in the house, and he went back in to get it. And then because the stairs had become so engulfed, the neighbors had to grab a ladder, and he ended up having to climb back out of the second story window after tossing the dog out to his daughter. It was devastating, but thankfully everybody got out. There were no injuries reported. Stuff is replaceable. Same thing with the fire later that evening. It kind of bookended my day. So that was the end of my day as well. The owner of the home, she said she turned her back for a minute on the barbecue, and it got so out of control. The neighboring yard had those big Italian cypress trees. The wind had picked up so much. These were both pretty wind-driven fires. It was windier for the evening one, and so it blew into the cypress trees and the neighbor's kind of back patio area. But when crews arrived on scene, they almost immediately called for a second alarm to get more crews in there to help with the blaze, and they were able to get it under control. I cannot stress enough, and really the fire department can't stress enough, how important having this defensible space around your home is. Our last story today is an update on the tragic Alexis Gabe case. Alexis Gabe, the Oakley woman missing since January 26th, is believed dead, and so is the lone suspect in her homicide, police said Thursday. Gabe's ex-boyfriend, Marshall Jones, of Antioch, was killed by police in Kent, Washington, Wednesday after he allegedly came at them with a knife as they attempted to arrest him in Gabe's disappearance. Oakley Police Chief Paul Beard said during a press conference at Oakley City Hall, "Part of what has led us to believe Alexis is the victim of a homicide is the examination of a large amount of digital and forensic evidence that has been recovered over the course of several search warrants and over several acts of labor done by Oakley Police and Antioch Police. In conjunction with that is the fact that there are no signs of life anywhere for Alexis." Examples of the evidence cited by Beard included a cell phone case previously identified as Gabe's in a May 13th statement by police, as well as images of Jones captured on multiple surveillance cameras that, quote, led him on a path from where Gabe's vehicle was abandoned in Oakley to his home on Bent Tree Lane in Antioch. According to Beard, the phone case was found near Jones's home and his DNA was recovered from it. Additionally, the GPS system in Gabe's vehicle showed an exact path from Jones's home to Trent Street in Oakley, where the vehicle had been found the night that Gabe disappeared. Jones was uncooperative, according to Beard, and had refused to speak to investigators several times, prolonging the investigation. He was not a known felon or known by Oakley police, Beard said. Contra Costa District Attorney Diana Becton filed a murder charge against Jones on May 26th after meeting with investigators from Oakley and Antioch police departments. Following this, Oakley and Antioch police coordinated with other agencies such as the U.S. Marshals Service and Washington state authorities to apprehend Jones in Kent in the encounter that ultimately led to his death. Beard said, "We understand the death of Marshal Jones impacts an investigative avenue for us, but we are still determined to continue with our investigation." While in Washington, police recovered several electronic devices belonging to Jones. These devices will be brought back to California for examination to determine if there are any clues to be found. Gabe, Alexis's father, also spoke at the press conference. "What happened to Marshall was tragic and unexpected," he lamented. "He was our daughter's first love. For 3 years, he'd become part of our family. We had no idea he was capable of doing something like this." The $100,000 reward being offered for information leading to finding Gabe still stands because police are searching for her body, according to Beard. Gwynn said he and his family remain committed in the case. "Our daughter remains alive in our hearts," he said. "We will continue to search for her until we find her." If you would like to view the press conference in its entirety, you can do so on our website. It's a terrible outcome, and I know it's not what any of us hoped for. I know in covering the story and the developments since January, we've been close with the family, and it is heartbreaking to see the heartbreak that they go through. As a parent, I can't imagine. I hope I never have to imagine or experience this. It's heavily disappointing now with Jones dead. We may never find out why. I hope that as a community, we will continue to be vigilant and continue to search our fields, our waterways, anything that will help bring Alexis's family more closure. That's all the news that we have for you today. However, I would like to point out that the Brentwood Union School District will again be providing daily free lunch for children and teens under 18 from Monday, June 13th through Friday, July 8th. Lunch will be provided from 12:15 to 12:45 p.m. Monday through Friday at Marsh Creek Elementary School, located at 601 Grant Street in Brentwood, and Monday through Thursday, you can pick up Friday's lunch on Thursday as well, from 11:30 a.m. to noon at Village Community Resource Center, located at 633 Village Drive in Brentwood. The program is funded by the United States Department of Agriculture to provide healthful meals for children during the summer months when regular school is out. In a press release, Brentwood Union School District said the program will allow all children and teens ages 18 years and younger to receive a healthy and nutritious lunch at no charge. There is no enrollment paperwork or income qualifications required for children and teens to participate. For more information, call 925-513-6338. Kyle, you have any plans this weekend?
I'm going to be heading out to the Discovery Bay open house tomorrow from 11 to 1 p.m. It's a good opportunity for people to come out and see what Discovery Bay is all about. It's going to be a lot of city officials talking about kind of how the town runs. So the press will be out there and stop by and say hello.
Every time I am out there for something, I realize there's more and more, like little shops, little restaurants, and of course, lots of boats. I'm headed to the water myself, sort of, and then the mountains. I have 2 weddings this weekend, one in Half Moon Bay and one in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Then I come back on Sunday and sleep. Well, awesome. I hope that you have a fantastic weekend. And with that being said, that is it for today's episode of Clocked In with the Press. We appreciate you taking the time to listen in, and we look forward to speaking with you in future episodes. If you would like to read more news stories of East Contra Costa County, you can do so through our website at www.thepress.net or through our Twitter and Instagram at PressClockedIn. Be sure to tune in again next week for all your local news and sports highlights. Contact us with your thoughts on this episode or any other before it by emailing podcasts@brentwoodpress.com. Thanks so much for listening, and we will speak with you all next time. This is Melissa
And Kyle, clocking out.
Once again, I'd like to thank this week's sponsor, Bill Brandt Ford, located at 8100 Brentwood Boulevard. Whether you're looking to buy a new Ford, a used Ford, or get some work done on your Ford, you want Bill Brandt Ford. Give them a call today at 925-634-3551. That number again is 925-634-3551. Or visit them online at BillBrandtFord.com. That's Bill Brandt, BRANDT Ford.com.